Welcome, everyone, to your weekday update. I'm Lars Johnson from the Microsoft Teams team. And yes, we actually call ourselves that. And I'm here to bring you this session inspired by the production style of your favorite weekend news update. Because let's be honest, it's been a long time since we've been able to tell the difference between weekdays and weekends. And although I'm not as well trained as this person, I am a trained Microsoft Teams expert here to show you how you can make your next virtual event a success. And yes, I know what you're thinking. Microsoft Teams is the app you've used for online meetings, maybe even a little too much lately, as well as chats and file collaboration. But what does this all have to do with virtual events and webinars? And furthermore, why am I talking about webinars while delivering a webinar? Which brings me to my first news flash. We're adding capabilities to Microsoft Teams that make great, beautifully produced webinars while being simple to set up and deliver. And yet, how you experience a virtual event is all based on your perspective. Now, generally speaking, you have the two camps, presenters and attendees. We're going to take a look at each. Presenters. And trust me, I can empathize here. It's time to leave some of those stage jitters behind. It's time to let go of the memories of that tight 10-foot stage, that sea of faces in the audience that you can barely make out. How could presenting your event in Microsoft Teams make for a better impression? Well, with the single click of a button, you can stand out with no spotlight required. And since your content is a live, fully integrated PowerPoint in Teams, you might just rediscover the pure joy of the clicker. And what about that life-saving AV booth crew? You get to show up with the professionalism like you have a full production team supporting you, except the production team is just the technology included in Microsoft Teams. And you get to swap time in the studio for the comfort of your home office. Aha! You may be asking, it sure looks like you used a studio instead of creating this webcast from home. And to that I say the answer is obvious. I don't get out much. And now it's your turn, event attendees. And I think you can all empathize with yourselves right now. You also get to leave some in-person event memories behind, arriving early to line up at that registration booth, struggling to grab a precious seat with the high reward of seeing the speaker in plain view. Your contribution to the event meant clapping occasionally, or if you were brave enough, standing in line to ask a question at that dreaded microphone, which often got awkward for all involved. Using webinars in Microsoft Teams, options for attendee interactions are on the up and up. You can share your reactions, be it loving hearts or constructive criticism. You can attend the event on demand or real time. And my personal favorite, you can do all of this if you choose from a bike. And so now we've talked about presenters and attendees, but there is one more very important role at the virtual event, and one that quite simply makes it all happen. I'm talking about you, the event organizer. Microsoft Teams is, wait for it, on your side. Setting up an event typically involves a lot of logistics, and you have enough to worry about. So webinars and Microsoft Teams can make anyone an event organizer with natural ease using the same familiar experience of setting up an online meeting, including registration, pre-configured moderation controls, and the security that you would expect from Microsoft. Go ahead, invite the world to be your audience, knowing that we can handle the scale with up to 20,000 attendees at a time. Surely, you say, getting this kind of production quality and scale, webinars is going to be costly. You've probably looked at your current bill from another webinar provider and wondered when the escalating costs were going to stop. With Microsoft, you don't need a separate webinar subscription. Webinars in Microsoft Teams are available with your existing E3 or Business Premium subscription, which means this may be the time to think about switching your provider. And despite a few of my gripes, I do miss in-person events. I also believe that we are building Microsoft Teams to bring together the best of in-person and digital experiences. Which brings me to the real Microsoft Teams expert on virtual events, my colleague Christina, who will walk you through all the looks of our new innovation. Christina, over to you.
Hey everyone, thanks for joining me. My day job's at Microsoft, but another passion of mine is helping people balance work and life. I used to travel all around Washington and deliver seminars, but since everything moved online, I had to find different tools to be able to connect with people. Most recently, I was using Teams Live Events. But with the new webinar capabilities coming to Teams, I'm so excited because I'll have a new, simplified, and easy way to deliver all of my seminars. So let's take a look at these new capabilities. With the new webinar scheduling option, everything I need is already pre-selected. So here, I'm going to go ahead and set up my registration page. I'm going to add a few details. Now, a custom question. I like to use this option because it helps me learn about people who are going to join my session ahead of time. This way I can curate the content to make it more relevant to them. It's also reassuring to know that all of the host controls that I need are already there. For example, I can select to have everybody muted when they join, so I don't have to worry about anybody unmuting and interrupting my presentation. And since I'm still building my customer base, I like to use LinkedIn to promote my events. So here I'll just copy this link and I can start a new post in LinkedIn, share it, and I'm all set. So now that we've set up the event, let's go ahead and take a look at from the attendee's perspective. When somebody registers for the webinar, they receive a confirmation immediately. Then, when the event's about to start, they can join in just a click. During the event, presenter mode allows me to change the view that my attendees see. And so anyone watching has a more engaging and more immersive experience. And it's also like everyone has a front row seat. New interactivity features, like reactions, allow people to express themselves and share immediate feedback. And adding polls to events will help your attendees stay more engaged, and as a presenter, you get feedback right away. Following the webinar, I can review the reporting dashboard and see a snapshot of everyone's participation. I can see who joined, who didn't, and how long people stayed. Now that I've started making new connections, I want to be sure to build on those relationships. And that's where Dynamics 365 Marketing comes in. I can easily add my webinar attendees from Teams to my existing client list and build email campaigns for ongoing communications. There's something to be said for using one tool for all of my communications, no matter who they're with. And even better, I can do it all from the comfort of my own home.
Thank you, Christina. You raised the obvious question. What am I doing here in the studio? I could be home right now being cozy. I too could have a candle burning in the background, if not for more important developments to tell you about. It was great to see how easy it is to deliver webinars with Teams. But when you want something bigger, I mean really big, with production teams, with stages and multiple screens, then what do? That's where Microsoft and our partner ecosystem has the expertise to help you pull it off. From event management and systems integration to attendee experience, Microsoft Consulting Services and our partners can help you plan and deliver your next large event. Now, some events are not just large in scale, they have become a household name. And that brings us to the Consumer Electronics Show that just a few weeks ago was delivered completely virtually, leveraging Microsoft Teams as well as a spectrum of Microsoft technology. I recently had the privilege and opportunity to sit down with Sean Perkins, VP of Marketing at the Consumer Technology Association, the Brave organization that ran the show. So welcome and thank you for joining us, Sean.
Thanks, Lars. Thanks for having me.
You must be having the ultimate breather right now, just having gone through a massive transformation and having pulled it off. And I'm most interested at just understanding how you felt like it went, especially comparison to prior years of running CES.
When you watch it on demand, it's a lot different in terms of the viewing habits of folks. So we always say, you can't imagine that someone is just going to come down, sit down, grab a cup of coffee for 3 days straight and sit there and watch the show or, engage in the show. People are doing different things. They're taking meetings. But we did see over 3 million people consume that content. And we continue to see people consume that content after the show. In fact, we saw over 30,000 people since the show officially closed, still consuming CES content, whether that be programming, keynotes, or even going back and interacting with our exhibitors.
It's so awesome to think about taking the power of what you had in person and then just magnifying it based on the way that your attendees wanted to experience the show. I'm so interested. I'm imagining being in the planning committee as COVID and the pandemic struck last year. And you had to make these big decisions with all the ambiguity of what was to be. And if you could give us a little bit of behind the scenes of what you had to think about as you made the decision to go virtual, and then some of the format changes and other kind of big planning decisions that went into it.
Back in June, we actually made the decision to go all virtual. Before that, we were actually going down the hybrid path, which was very difficult. So once we actually made that decision, and we wanted to make that early to inform all of our customers early enough to make that decision, we said, all right, if we are all digital, that's a completely different experience than a hybrid event. So what we were thinking really about is security, the volume of people. Now that people don't have to travel to Vegas, now there's a lot more people that can come to the event. We can extend our reach. We can extend our reach to a lot of different people that always wanted to come to CES, but now they can because really the limit is really your laptop.
What would be some of the key pieces of advice that you would give to event organizers that you learned throughout this transformation process?
Sure. I think one of the biggest things is discoverability. So when you just have to think about the stature and how big CES is, it was global, right? So we had people from 167 countries. We had 1,300 exhibitors from outside the United States, 530 international startups. You also think about just the number of media that was actually there, 5,400 media that attended. So these are large numbers. And when you're thinking about that, we were able to showcase some of those folks on the anchor desk so that what we call interstitial programming, when you first go into the venue, you can actually see like a news broadcast. And we had some of those CEOs at some of those brands being able to highlight some of the announcements that they made at CES.
I am sure you have attendees that have been going to this conference year after year, and one of their most exciting work moments was when they could book their tickets to Las Vegas. I'm assuming you have a whole crew of people that are hoping that will happen for next year. But we've also changed. So what does the future look like? What are you thinking about as you begin to plan the world of events going forward?
Sure. So it's funny. When we're sitting there talking to our media, so we're getting feedback from media, we're getting feedback from attendees, our board, as well as exhibitors. The number one thing that we've heard time and time and time again, I can't wait to go back to Las Vegas. Never thought that we'd hear that before, but we do hear that. So there will be a time where, because of that serendipity, because of that hands-on interaction with the different products. We have all of these we have big media press conferences that we have in Vegas every year at the Mandalay Bay. So, I think when you think of it in a hybrid event, we're actually already making some potential changes, because we did all of our keynotes this year was virtual, and those big brands really enjoyed that. Actually, they had these high production value. I'm not saying we're definitely going to go in that route, but that could be one area that we could think of. Hey, what if the keynotes were all virtual now? Because they can make those announcements. They can reach 10 times as many people as if they were right there in the Venetian, as an example.
Those are all great insights, Sean. I think it is very much in common with what we've talked about with Microsoft Teams, which is there is a lot that we have loved about the digital transformation. We have loved the fact that we can scale to more attendees, get more reach, more access, more continuity throughout a year versus a big shot, a one-time shot. And at the same time, there are things that are really hard to replace about the physical world, the excitement of gathering together, the excitement of networking and building relationships, and that we have an opportunity to blend those together in the future in a pretty magical and yet unknown way. So thank you so much for joining me today, and best of luck in planning for next year.
Thanks, Lars. Appreciate it.
Now, as my time, maybe my last time, as the anchor of Weekday Update comes to a close, I want to leave you with two important things. First, you have all the tools you need at your fingertips to reach your customers with webinars in Microsoft Teams. You'll be more confident, and your attendees will thank you for it. And second, come on, as if I'm going to end a session with a bullet point. As a special bonus for you Ignite fans, I'm going to hand it over to Alex Bradley, marketer extraordinaire, and Bob Bejan, Microsoft's head of events and mastermind of Ignite. Alex and Bob, this is the Teams team signing off.
Hi everyone, I'm Alex Bradley, and I'm joined here today by Bob Bejan, Corporate Vice President of Microsoft's Events, Studios, and Communities. Bob, welcome.
Well, it's great to be here.
It's nice to see you in person. And the last time we did this with cameras was on the show floor of Microsoft Ignite 2019, quite a while ago.
2 years ago.
Now, I wanted to start with the journey that we've been on. Ignite, here we are, 2 Ignites on, our flagship. You've now done several of Microsoft's flagships and even third-party events over the last year during the pandemic. Tell us a little bit about, first of all, that initial moment where you realized, oh no, we can't do our in-person. Like, how do you pivot in that moment with Build last year?
Yeah, well, it was way before Build, actually. When you think about it, this week, right, the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, we were doing the Digital Experiences Summit at Meydenbauer Center in Bellevue. We had 2,000 people, Microsoft employees coming. The night before at 10:30 was when we canceled that meeting and made it virtual. And that was the first virtual meeting we made. And we basically just shot all the speeches intact in the room because we'd already loaded in and everything. So that was the first kind of baptism in fire. And it was like, and then we had the exec retreat leadership summit the next week. And we did that in Building 33.
But it sounds like back then it was still very much the in-person event that you were broadcasting. At what point did the penny click? Because you come from a musical, and theater, background. At what point did that sort of click, that mindset change happen from, oh no, we're not doing stage stuff anymore, we're doing television?
No, I think this is so here's the thing. I think it all came up on us so fast. And we literally had 28 events lined up between, kind of the first week of March and Build, right? There were 28 events between then. And we're looking at them, and quite frankly, it scared me to death because everybody in the industry was going, hybrid event, and we're going to keep going, and we'll start planning. And to me, it was just like, oh my God, we already didn't have enough resources as it was. Yeah. And just it so happened that we had an SLT review. And I kind of said to my boss, Chris Capicella, I go, look, we're going to be bold. And he goes, go for it, man. And because we had been pitching a digital version of our sales meeting in the fall, and we just got beaten to death. People just did not want to listen to it.
You can't bring salespeople to do it
It was just
virtually.
like, oh my God, we just got ripped. And so then it was just like, we had this kind of a plan. And so we just walked into this SLT meeting. We said, okay, we want two things. We want permission to cancel every live event we're doing so we can just concentrate on doing digital events. And Satya went, absolutely, what next? I mean, like, I thought we were going to have to
Moving
defend
on.
and everything. It was just like, he was just like, go. And then the second one was, hey, do you want Microsoft to be a showcase?
Yeah.
And that decision to kind of work with engineering to really invest and make reality.
You've been quite public and you've posted a lot on LinkedIn about sort of learnings. And it's interesting reading those learnings because there's the, 1 month, 4 month, 9 month. One of the things that I remember reading was about the reorganization that you've done. And you described it as this hybrid production company television network. Tell us a little bit about that. And then I'm intrigued, like, what are the learnings if you're not the corporate vice president of Microsoft Events Studios and Communities, but maybe you're running your own webinar events and whatnot. What are the learnings? Like, how should you be thinking about your teams to deliver these sort of virtual events?
It's a great question, but here are the three or four things I would say. First, it is as big as you think it is, right? And in a way, it's bigger than you think it is, right? Yeah. Because as much as you start to go, oh, it's that, it's so much more than that.
You're not just taking the in-person and broadcasting it.
Well, that's change. The first one, right? Yeah. You cannot translate, you have to remake. And once you start to really internalize that, and that's a thing it's a mantra that you have to we keep saying to ourselves over and over again. The next thing is that you start to realize what you're working in is a new medium.
Yeah.
And that's important because all of us that work with crew people and creative people and agencies and everything, everybody wants to put it in a box and go, oh, it's broadcast.
Yeah.
Or, oh, no, you know what this is? This is live theater in front of a camera. It's like, yeah, a little bit broadcast, a little bit interactive movie making, a little bit theater, all these things true. But it's not any one of them totally, and it really is a new process. It really is a new way of thinking. It really is not just about making television, right, cinematic kind of frame-by-frame making, but it's also incorporating and knowing and embracing that people are chatting and doing other stuff. And so you've got to use those palettes too and bring that in. You know, it's kind of, for me, secretly, it's what's so cool about Teams. It does all those things, right, where you can kind of go, oh, yeah, I know you're wandering. Okay, here's a link, and that link opens to something that makes sense for what I'm saying. And all of a sudden, I'm pulling people back in the medium we're working in.
Big change, medium change, new process.
Exactly. And then I think really just kind of going, it's okay. What's happening now, the ability to experiment, try something different.
Yeah.
Use the language that is so, like, we all know how to do chat, but what more can you do with chat, right? We all talk about polling and that kind of thing as though that's all it is. But think about making a presentation that is built around polling, not I'm doing my presentation, now we're going to stop and we'll do a poll. But like really collaborating with the audience, because this, I think, is the nature, like group collaboration in a presentation setting. It's a dynamic idea.
Now, let's, as we sort of shift and sort of look forward and sort of begin to close things out, look into a world of like true hybrid, like vaccinations are rolling out. Yeah. Hopefully by the time people are watching this, many people might have had it. And we're all beginning that plan of like, what's next? Yep. What do you think hybrid events look like over the next year, 18 months?
Here's the thing. When this all started, you heard a lot of people starting to make lemonade out of lemons early, and they'd go, hey, it's great. We're going to learn a lot about video. We'll learn a lot about digital. It'd be great to be able to add that to the live events when we go back to live events. I think what's changed, certainly for us and certainly for me, is that digital core that we're making now is the core of everything. That's not going to change. That's going to get more articulate. It's going to get more well-produced. It's going to get more, magical. But that is going to be the centerpiece. And then what's going to happen is local and regional activation, concurrent and adjacent to that digital core, is, I think, the way we're going to reinvent what live events are. And I think, honestly, and I don't mean to be negative about it, but I just don't, it's hard to see live destination-based events the way we used to do them.
Well, I've been thinking about this, and to me, it feels like in the old world, and back to where we started, we were at Ignite. The keynotes that we were producing there, we were producing for the people in the room. And the cameras were there almost from an audience perspective in the room. Whereas now, I think when we go back, it's almost like a sitcom, with a studio audience.
Although I would say, to the credit to the team, if you remember that 2 years ago at Ignite, we did for the first time, we did the whole keynote across the entire show floor.
Totally.
But
that was one out of...
Agreed, but that was a big step to get the company to do that. Like, that was a huge production to get people to go, like, I'm not going to stand on the stage. I'm going to stand out in my land and do my thing remotely, and I'm not going to be able to get patted on the back by Satya, metaphorically. That was huge. But we made television. That was what we were trying to do.
But those same learnings that you just described, I think, apply, moving forward. That big transformation, you're not going to go back to the old way of working. So you're going to stick with it. The medium has changed. And those new processes, I think, are going to probably continue to evolve.
Totally. And I think, look, think about it. We're so at the beginning of this, and that's what makes it exciting. I mean, there's so many territories to explore, both creatively, from a communications perspective, and then from a strategic leadership perspective. It's just an amazing time when you think about this as an emerging platform and then medium in a larger communication sense. There are just very few times where so many things come together well. Huge bandwidth, connectivity, propagation of the platform, and an audience that knows how to respond and use it.
You're right, because I think we all assume that people are sort of sitting there are wanting to sort of sit in ranks in a room, in a ballroom somewhere, when in reality, they're used to being at home watching YouTube, and they're used to engaging this way.
Hey, 2 generations of people in the workforce right now that have grown up doing this with their media more than anything else.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
I think my biggest takeaway as we wrap is not only the process and the tools are different, but you're right. I think about your setup at home. It's time to kit up. The little webcam that's, like if you're going to be doing these webinars, make that moderate investment. Think about the medium differently. This isn't just a PowerPoint and you can throw it up. Those are kind of the key takeaways for me.
And have fun. I mean,
Totally.
it's a great opportunity to learn about stuff that you don't know how to use, and it's a gas. It really is.
Totally. Bob, thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Great to be here, Alex.
I hope you've enjoyed this little chat and a sneak peek behind the scenes of digital events with Bob Bejan. Thanks so much for joining us.
Every day, rich, dynamic, interactive, virtual events powered by Teams are generating greater reach and deeper connections. You can create your meeting, virtual event, or webinar right inside Microsoft Teams.
We held Real Estate of the Union, which was a live event to discuss what is going on in the real estate market. Being able to engage with viewers through a live session was really important to us because we wanted to be able to answer questions that were on the hearts and minds of people from across the country.
With powerful new features and product integrations, Teams enables secure, engaging end-to-end digital experiences for ever-growing audiences.
We had about 12,000 attendees, and the feedback that we received afterwards was tremendous. I mean, we were able to address a lot of questions, and we were able to stand as leaders and as experts in this space.
It really has offered us some opportunities to gather together in a single place through Microsoft Teams and still feel like we're part of something bigger.
From town halls and summits to broadcasts and conferences, what all of these events share is their amazing ability to reach and engage their audience. Microsoft brings together the technology and rich partner ecosystem to support growing event needs of all sizes.
Back in June, we actually made the decision to go all virtual. We've actually reached over 3 million people who have watched CES content from the show. We're going to extend our reach to a lot of different people that always wanted to come to CES, but now they can because really the limit is your laptop.
Welcome to the new world of virtual events.